1 and a 2 and a 3.
Up to it, down to it. We do it because we used to it.
Forget those who don't do it.
So
drink SemCity, drink SemCity, drink.
Woo!
Woo.
Welcome back. It is episode 4 of SemCity. I miss you guys.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, welcome back to ourselves. We've been the ones gone.
I know.
Yeah.
Why did we miss the Austin episode that we talked about in episode 3?
Yeah, we were supposed to do our last this episode we were supposed to do in Austin 2 weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when we were getting ready to head down there, we were going to do the episode where we had our 2 guests,
Mm-hmm.
which was T. Lee and Raquel, our good friends.
Good friends.
Child's godparents,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been in our lives for a really long time, and they were going to be our next guest for our show. And right before we came down there, we got a call from T. Lee that his grandmother had passed.
Yeah.
So we decided to put that episode on hold.
Mm-hmm.
And we still went down to Austin.
It was
And,
Black Homecoming.
Yeah,
at
it was
UT.
Black Homecoming weekend. So we still went down, but we decided not to do the show that weekend because we wanted to. We had everything planned to do it with them, so we didn't bring the equipment down, and we just enjoyed the weekend. And last weekend we were at the Texas game, so
Yeah.
we've been on vacation for these last couple of weeks. So we're back, and we're ready to give y'all what y'all want.
And I just have some quick updates for the fans. We did have one fan comment on us talking about our finances, and I thought it was a really, really good segment. And they just wish that a lot of other couples or married couples would do the same kind of structure we do, how we agreed up on an allowance, and everything goes into one account, and it's all about transparency. So I think we can in later episodes just go into deeper discussions on how we came up with our allowance or anything like that. We're all about educating other people or just being an example of what we do. So
That's cool. I mean, y'all ain't gonna get all in my business, so I ain't gonna tell you how much I put in there. But no.
One thing they wanted to know was savings. Like, what do we put towards our savings?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say we do have a set amount that goes from our income into savings, but we have multiple streams of income. That's like the biggest thing. Like, just having, you got to have a side hustle, and we definitely have multiple side hustles. So our side hustle money goes to our savings, and like we make it a point to build our savings.
I mean, that's a good way to operate. As long as you're taking care of the bills, you can have your play money, but a lot of that extra money you making definitely needs to go into savings because nowadays you never know what could happen about anything.
Is everything.
Cash is everything. Cash on hand.
Cash on hand.
Cash on
everything.
hand.
I just went into a situation with me and my sister, and like having the access to cash is key. And if you don't think a recession is coming, whole nother topic. Like, but it's coming. So get your savings up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad some people could, take our example and make it work for them. But, not to say that it's the end all be all thing to do. Whatever works for y'all, whatever y'all are comfortable with doing. We don't want to always say that our way is the best way. We just perfect or something like that. Like, it's just, this is the stuff that works for us, and it works for us without conflict.
Yeah.
So that's why we suggest it to people, because your way might work for you in between all the arguments. So, we don't argue about our financial situation, because everything is transparent. We have great communication on that. So, I mean, that's what everything about marriage is about anyway is communication. So as long as y'all are taking some of the stuff, like, take some you hear from somebody else, what you like what they said, take a piece from us, and make it work for y'all. But as long as we can continue to, at least share some positivity, in the people, that's good. But speaking of your sister, she was with us this past weekend when we went to the Texans football game.
Yes.
Man, we had fun.
We had a good
won
time.
finally. It was ugly, but at least, hey, a win's a win in the league. But nobody really cares what the score was 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
What's our record? Is it 4-1 or is it
true.
1-4? So man, we had a good time, and we might have got a little over our heads, some of us. That's the thing I want to talk about today. How many people have been in a situation where you going out and you've been looking forward to going out somewhere, and then you got this one friend that you got to end up babysitting for the rest of the trip? So that's what we experienced this past weekend at the Texans game. One of Miracle's sister's friends came to the game with us, and she pre-gamed to the max. We all getting up there in age, and we don't get these opportunities that much, to get our college kid on.
The bounce back is not the same.
The bounce back. What
during,
bounce back? The during. The during ain't what it was.
But in undergrad, let me tell you, I think I have the ultimate babysitting someone's story. In undergrad, someone had to go to the emergency room while we were out and about. So
half of these stories, you had to call me to come assist you with the babysitting.
That is very true. That is very true. But how do you handle? I know everybody has a story of babysitting the drunk friend that just didn't know how to measure their intake.
But this weekend was so hilarious because we all went, we still got a pregame before we go even to the tailgate. We tailgate before the Texans game. So we'll make sure we get a few drinks in at the tailgate before we go in. We're going to get drinks while we in at the game too. Got to. But this, of course, when Miracle and her sister get together, there's always time delays. For some reason. If we don't decide to go at 9 a.m., 8:30 in the morning, we going to get there right before the kickoff. So I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. That's why I had my beverage already prepared. I had stuff in the car ready to go because I knew there was going to be delays as soon as her sister told us she was going to be able to make it to the game. So then all of a sudden, her friend is coming too. So then when we get to the game, now we got to wait for a friend to get there. But of course, Miracle's sister, the great partier she is, the great tailgater she is, had a drink ready for her friend even though she wasn't there to mix one up at the house with us. She already had one prepared for her, and she put it in a travel canteen for her. A travel.
See, that was the mistake.
What is it?
A
flask.
A flask.
Travel flask. She put it in a travel flask for her and everything. That is a true friend when you're going to a tailgate. You're not prepared. You're running late. You're trying to just get there. Mm-hmm. And they still got you for the pregame before you even step foot on the premises.
See, that be the problem with me and Michelle. We literally think about everything. And, sometimes we put our friends in a bad situation because that friend was too crunk over that.
She was so excited. And that's why I said we getting up there in age and we don't do this like we used to. So we trying to take full advantage. We trying to get that thing back for that one time. And she seen that travel flash
It was a
and
wrap.
got too excited. And then the thing, at the Texans games, you can tailgate, you can park in the parking spots if you got a parking pass, or you gotta find parking, or you could take the metro rails. We took the metro rail like we usually do when we don't park in the parking lot, just because it's a 30-second ride.
Yeah.
Once you jump on there, it's a 30-second ride to get to the parking lot, and then you're right there in the parking lot where all the tailgates are. We're good to go. So she shows up after we waited for her to get there for a little while. Finally shows up, and then she gets the travel flash. She's all happy. It's a travel flash, so it's even got a little clip for your your belt, your belt loop. So she had it on the belt loop. Click. She's smiling. Got her shades on. Everybody, look! I got my drink right here. I'm ready. Oh, it's good. And first of all, no, it wasn't, because Miracle's sister had her cup in the car, and she had to go run back in the house before we left. So her cup was full to the brim, and I had to move the truck. So Miracle was about to grab it before it spilled, and she said, "Hey, taste this." I tasted this. It was pure tequila with a splash of nothing. And I'm like, oh man. So this is what's in the travel flask.
As you're telling this story, it's like so many signs that
it's about to go bad.
Like
this
that.
is not going good. No, but that was the thing. That was the thing. When you tasted the drink and let me taste it, we automatically was like, your sister wasn't gonna be the one to make it out of here.
Yeah, we all bets was on Michelle.
Yeah, we knew she wasn't coming out of there.
And I was like, she riding with us. She gonna Uber home. We good.
Yeah, because we was like, she gonna still turn up when it's over. But the thing was, 30-second rail ride to the parking lot. Before we stepped foot in that parking lot, her flask was gone. Gone. And then we got to the tailgate, and of course it's 12 o'clock, about to be kickoff, and I want to be there for the opening kickoff for opening day.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving. Miracle goes with me, of course, like the good wife she is. But we been drinking anyway, so we were good. They stayed. Next thing you know, we getting text messages in the second quarter of the game. We ain't seen one piece of the game. We been in the bathroom this whole time. She on the floor. She naked on the floor. She throwing up. She peeing. They calling the cops. We snuck her in the stall. We good. We got out of there. I don't know what to do. Fourth quarter. She's still in the bathroom. I left her. We get a video. Michelle tailgating with she partying in the crowd with fans. Friend still in the bathroom, sitting on the toilet in the stall, trying to get herself together. Of course, the Texans win by a hair. And, of course, I didn't want to see the last play because we were about to blow the game, so I didn't even want to watch the last play. I was let the crowd tell me who won the game. And as we're walking out, we run right into them walking out, too. And
disclaimer, those sequence of events were a little out of order, but for the sake of the story.
Hey, it was drunkenness. Drunkenness on the floor, and that was it. None of the game was watched. She didn't make it to see any of the game.
And so now the game's over. We're leaving. My sister, like the true trooper she is, gave the universal question, "You good? Okay, I'm going back to tailgate."
Yo.
So we took care of the friend. Just walked to the rail and then went back to the car. I called her sister. Her sister was on her way, picked her up, her and her friend. So
It
we're
was
in. It was
hilarious. Like
hilarious.
we were
She
walking back.
walked.
We had to of course get back to the rail, walk through the parking lot to get
Yeah.
to the rail, get back to the parking ride, wait for her people to get her. But as Miracle is walking with her, like she's got her shades on, and
Yeah.
she is like a dead person walking. It was like Weekend at Bernie's. She had her shades on, and Miracle's walking her, and she just like I could tell like her eyes had to just been closed the whole time she was walking, and like
I
trying to
hope there
stand up
were.
straight. And Miracle's trying to hold her up straight as they walking, and she just like got her head bobbing in all directions like Weekend at Bernie's. And I am cracking up like, oh man.
But
And
she
it was like
wasn't
100
dead.
degrees outside. That's the worst thing ever to be
Yeah.
that drunk and it's that hot
Yeah.
outside. Like, oh man.
I
Like,
was just praying and I was happy that she did not throw up. Because when we started moving, like everybody knows, once the car or you are moving, that's like a recipe to throw up. But she did great in my opinion. Because like I said, in undergrad, I have been in some worse
I mean,
situations.
Miracle let her rest her head on her, held her up the whole walk, sat in the car with her until her people came. Dudes not like that.
Dude's not
Dudes
doing that.
Dudes will leave they homeboy
What?
knocked out wherever they at,
Are
and we
you
gonna continue.
sick?
You not about to ruin our night like that, especially if we done made
Whoa.
it to a point of no return.
Wow.
Let me tell you about this one story. My homeboy, we pre-gamed the undergrad. You got to pre-game before any time you go
Yeah.
out. Like that's a rule.
My
Like
pregame
you
was a nap
don't
in
matter how
undergrad.
much you plan on spending at the bar that night. You going to the liquor store before because you got to have your pregame ready before you go out. So of course we pre-gaming. My one homeboy, he pre-gamed a little bit too much to the point where he was out of there before we even left. So we get in the car, and of course he's got another drink in his hand. And while we're in the car on the way to 6th Street, now it's probably about a 10-minute ride from our apartments to 6th Street with the traffic and everything on the weekend. But he's in the back seat, I'm in the front seat passenger, and he's back there falling asleep with his cup in his hand, about to spill the cup. It's traffic. So I look in the back at my one friend and I'm like, hey man, grab that cup from him before he spill that cup. He falling asleep. So he's like eyes closed, slunched over, about to spill the drink. My friend reaches over to grab it. He pops up and wakes up, looks at him and snatches the cup back and looks at him with a mean mug. And I'm like, man, you out of there. So then he falls asleep again. And of course, we take an exit with traffic and got to slam on the brakes. And boom, he splashes the whole drink into the front seat. So he's out of there. We get to downtown Austin and we park in a parking garage because there's no parking this weekend. And we found this parking garage nobody knew about. We could park in.
Marriott.
Nah, it wasn't even that one.
Oh,
It was
that's where we
actually,
used to
yeah,
park.
it was close to 6th Street. And he can't even move. He's knocked out. He's not even waking up. We trying to wake him up, nothing. So we leave him in the back seat. We in the parking garage. He ain't out exposed to the cops on the street or nothing. We'll let him sleep it off. We leave him in the back seat and we go to the party. We party for the rest of the night. Of course, it was only maybe an hour and a half because we're going to get to the club fashionably late anyway. And we come out of the club when it's over. And the next thing we see when we come out, we hanging out in the front, is him running full sprint towards us. Smiling. We like, what the hell? He comes running up. Hey, y'all, what's up? Y'all ready? Let's go in. We like, bro, it's over. He like, what? Oh, man. We like, man, you was out of there. So he ends up telling us later on that when he was in the car, he woke up in the back seat in the garage and he thought somebody had kidnapped him. He thought somebody had kidnapped him. So he freaks out and jumps out the car and takes off running. And he didn't stop running until he got to the club where we was at. And he thought that he was just right behind us. We've been in there for an hour and a half. It's over. We sweating. The AC wasn't working in there. Oh, we were laughing so hard. Like, dudes not gonna babysit their friends. Like, he left the door open to the car. He thought he got kidnapped.
He was escaping.
We had to go run to the car because he left the door open.
Wow. That same story,
man.
we are definitely taking our friend back home. Like, yeah.
Oh, man.
The difference
yeah,
between-
dudes know. We
Yeah.
partied the whole time.
So the moral of this situation is drink responsibly, people, and definitely put limits. I know that's something I definitely did in undergrad. Like, once somebody, I found out they didn't know how to hold their liquor, you were on, like, you can only have one shot to pregame and one drink when we go out, because I can't be in that situation. So know your limits. It's okay.
At least always have a backup plan, especially if you
okay.
drove and then you get out of there. Have your backup plan. Have your
Uber.
Uber app. Make sure that's refreshed and your card is up to date on there. You
Card's
know,
up to date.
or at least have another friend that can drive you. You
Yeah.
know, or something. Or somebody.
Especially
you can
because we
call.
just getting too old, so
Yeah.
that's not cool anymore.
We all getting too old to do it how we were doing it. You ain't gonna be able to knock back three
I sure
drinks
can't.
in 20 minutes and then try to go to the football game in 100-degree weather. We all
cannot.
we saw that one coming.
Yeah, we
just
really
by
did.
how
It was
excited
so
she
many
was when she
times.
showed up. Yeah,
many
it was
times.
over. But yeah, that was hilarious. On a completely other note, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have seen this new back to school PSA commercial that's come out. Very controversial. Very controversial. I loved it. I loved the commercial.
It was a good commercial. Ain't gonna.
I
That
loved
girl
it.
at the end.
I loved it because they previewed it on the news before I had saw the full commercial, and I was like, I can't wait to see that commercial because I know it's what it's gonna need to be. Like, people need to wake up out here. People are taking this stuff way too lightly, and people always think other people are trying to take things from them. The only thing that's being taken away right now are your kids. You worried about guns, and the kids are the ones that's being taken away.
I just do not
And
understand it.
And that's why I couldn't wait to see that commercial because I knew what it was gonna be, and I'm like, this is what it needs to be. And for all those who haven't seen it, Sandy Hook, the school who a few years ago experienced a terrible school shooting, the elementary school, they've started a project now to where they're doing a lot of PSAs and stuff like that to make people aware and get schools involved in being aware and prepared for situations and school shootings like this. It's led to a lot of in-school training and drills and stuff that have been made in its existence. But this recent project they've had was a new commercial for back to school that starts off with, it almost looks like a Target commercial. You know, it's like kids talking about what they got for theirs to be ready for back to school. And it starts off with a kid with a new backpack. He's like, man, I'm glad my mom got me this backpack. It's going to make me ready for school. And then, a girl with her binders. And then it goes into a kid with some new headphones in the library. But as he's putting these headphones on, kids in the background are starting to run around. And then the next kid's like, he's running in the hallway and he's like, man, I'm glad my mom got me these new shoes for back to school. And he's running down the hallway and you're hearing gunshots and kids screaming and running around everywhere. And then there's a girl shot in the leg. And her friend is like, I'm glad I have these tube socks for back to school and my athletics. And she's taking her socks off to tie a tourniquet around her friend's leg. And then there's a girl in the bathroom texting her mom,
Oh,
I
you
love
forgot
you.
the part with the scissors.
Oh, the scissors, yeah. The girl hiding behind the door with scissors and another kid with some colored pencils, which wasn't gonna
I
do
wouldn't
that.
have cast.
He must have just sharpened them things. Some sharpened colored pencils gonna do some damage though.
I
That's
understand,
one of
but
the sharpest things in the classroom.
if I
Is
was
a
the
sharpened
director,
map pencil.
if I was the director, I would have cut that part out. But then the last part,
Yeah.
with that girl crying in the bathroom, and she texts her mom, I love you. I'm glad I got this new phone. And then the door opens. That little girl deserves a commercial Oscar. Cause
she was acting her
did
behind
that.
She
I
was
know. I was
acting.
like, that was some good acting right there.
Yeah.
My take on when we first saw that video, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
But I wish people would understand they did that for the shock value. Like their intent was to get people to talk. And then I saw multiple news, like they were just talking about, people this is not the way to prepare kids to go to school and all of that. Like, I don't think that was the intent. The intent is to show people, like, this is the world we live in now. Like, there's literally school shootings all the time. I always think about that South Park episode they did. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. When it was just like, basically.
So, son, what happened at school today? Oh, we had a math test. Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. How'd you do? I failed my math test. Oh, yeah, and there was a school shooting.
Yeah, it was. Okay. Like,
yeah, and that's what it was. And the mom was outraged, and
she was
the dad
only
thought
one.
She was tripping.
Everybody was like, "What? It was just another school shooting. Like, it was just nothing." But that is the point. And again, all these people talking about that commercial, and it's like no one addresses the issue that there's a gun problem. Why don't we address these, like, freely giving people guns? Like, why is it so easy to get a gun, but everybody rather focus on the fact that this commercial was trying to teach our kids, like, how to act in a like, no, y'all are, everybody's distracted from the issue, which is gun control, but nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody rather talk about this commercial and, like, the little boy with the pencils. Like,
that's what I liked about the commercial. That's what I liked about the commercial, is that it didn't say nothing about guns. It didn't say nothing about guns. But you know what it was? It was showing you that we're in a crisis right now. Like, this is, like you said, this is what our world is now, is school shootings. Our back to school, like I said, the commercial looks like a Target back to school commercial. And then next thing you know, is kids running around and bleeding everywhere.
For the commercial versus the issue. That's my problem. Like,
That's the thing.
Why are you more mad about this commercial versus
why they mad?
Guns?
Because now they seeing that it's they kids getting shot and running around scared and terrified, and they're normalizing it now. It's being normalized. It's normalized. He's like, man, I'm so glad I got this skateboard.
Yeah.
For back to school, and then he's breaking the window out so he can escape out the classroom. Mm-hmm. Like, it's making people outraged. The only people who are outraged about that are the hypocrites that are now seeing it's starting to hit them now. Like, they started seeing their children in school running for their life, and how that commercial was normalizing that situation and making like it was a normal situation.
I don't know what it's gonna take, because some of my friends, they love their guns. Whew, Jesus, they love them. Like, it's in my purse right now. You don't take my gun away from me.
And see, that's the thing. I understand some people's affinity to guns, but my deal about it is guns were made for one specific thing: to kill another person. A handgun was made to kill another person. It's a close range weapon for warfare. Like, rifles were originally made for hunting. You know? Now, granted, these are what are being used in these school shootings because young people get access to them because they're used for hunting, you know? But they should make rules and regulations on that as well. Do like Japan does. Why can't we do like Japan does? You can own a gun, but you have to keep this gun at a gun club, at a shooting range, locked up in a locker, and that's the only place you could use it. Because that's the only place you should be able to have to use it. Well, home protection from what? Another person with a gun? They shouldn't have one.
Yeah.
If they didn't have one, you wouldn't need one.
Let me tell you something, Chris. So many people don't think like that.
I understand that. And you know what? People in Japan that also get caught with a gun going to jail forever.
Everybody who justifies guns say, "Oh, I need it for my protection. What if somebody tries to rob me or all of that?" But like, if you just eliminate all guns, then
who's trying to rob you? You know, it's only been that situation doesn't. I understand protecting your family and your property, but people feel like they still need to protect their family and property by shooting and killing somebody.
Gotta go.
How about buying an alarm system for your house? You know, you can protect your house, your property and your family that way too. And you know, I do, but I don't understand some people's fascination with guns because, like I said, especially handguns, are made to kill people. So why do you need one so bad? Do you need to kill somebody? You know, what do you like? If you feel like you need to protect yourself with a gun, it's because you feel like your life is in danger. You know what I mean? So if your life isn't in danger from some other person because they got a gun, then you don't also need the use of deadly force, you know? And it causes a lot of problems.
Yeah.
You know, it causes a lot of problems. Like, just even think about normal crime, some of the stuff we're dealing with. You know what I do, but just think about police officers shooting people because they either are or they think they're armed. What if they didn't have to worry about that? If that was out of the question, that you don't have to worry about this person being armed, and if they are, now you're definitely justified in your actions, there wouldn't be all of this controversy going on right now. But because guns are so freely accessible, this is what we dealing with. We dealing with all these different. We just dealing with a bunch of loss of life because that's what these guns are made for.
And nobody sees that.
And nobody see no, but we still living in 1776. The right to bear arms. People still using that.
Oh,
the right to bear arms. Don't come and take it. Don't tread on me. Get out of here with that. Okay, don't tread on me and your kid getting shot at school. I'm scared to send my kid to school. He's 2. I got to think about this for the next however many years till he get ready to go. Because this is the time we live in. And like one of my coworkers sends his kid to school with a doorstop in his backpack. That is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. Like, you're not packing your kid a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a sticky note on there with some inspirational words for the day. You sticking a doorstop in your kid's backpack just in case if somebody comes and shoots the school up. Like, that is the saddest thing ever. Like, and that's what we dealing with. Like, back in May in Colorado, it was the Columbine anniversary or whatever. and they had that school shooting at that elementary or that STEM school. It's like a KIPP school, and I will never forget this to the day I die. I just looked at this video earlier because I knew we were going to talk about this topic. They CNN had a little 12-year-old boy on there who was in the school when the shooting happened. Him and his dad, and they did an interview with him. And this little kid was giving details about what happened, and I'll never forget it. This kid was like, he's like, I have really good hearing, and I started hearing stuff, and one of the kids in my class started joking around, cracking jokes about a shooter, and my teacher told him to shut up, and then she made all of us hide behind her desk, and then we started hearing the shots get louder and louder, and then we had to go and hide in the closet, and I got in a corner, and he's like, and I had my hands on a metal bat, because if he came in there, I wasn't going down without a fight. And when this little kid said that, the broadcaster, she couldn't even ask him another question because she was getting so choked up. She couldn't get words out of her mouth. Like, this little kid said, if I was going out, I wasn't going out without a fight. So I grabbed a metal bat that was in the corner. Like, that was one of the saddest things I have ever heard in my life. Like, and his dad was just, in disbelief, and the news anchor, she was in disbelief, and she couldn't believe that this is what a 12-year-old kid was saying to her, giving her these details, and then said, if I'm gonna die, if I'm about to go out, I'm not going out without a fight. And he grabbed a bat. And that's when you were saying, like, your favorite part was that girl who was hiding behind the door with the scissors.
Well, you got second favorite, yeah.
Well, that was the part where you were at least like, all right, she wasn't, just because that little girl wasn't going out without a fight. All the other kids were running in that commercial. And that little girl had some scissors and was by that door, but that was her last resort. Just like that little kid, I'm sure it's how he felt. He couldn't, he said, matter of fact, he said when he grabbed the bat is when the shooters was right outside their classroom door, and he could hear them through the window. And so that's when he grabbed the bat, and he was hiding in a corner. He was like, if he came in there and if he was going out, he wasn't going out without a fight. I'll never forget that. Like, and I just wanted to go back and look at that video just to remember some of the details that the kid was giving. And I think his name was Nathan Holly, little 12-year-old kid. Y'all can YouTube that video. Like, that video will, however you feel about guns, will make you, if you got kids, especially if you don't have kids, that video will make you feel some certain type of way about this situation we're dealing with. And at the end of that video, the news anchor said, and this is in May of this year, the news anchor said, since the fall, there have been 35, that was the 35th school shooting.
It's so many.
She said, this is a crisis. She said, remember what y'all just heard from that little 12-year-old boy. And then it went to commercial. Like, we gotta do something about something. I don't care. I don't care how much money people are making off of guns and all of this. Man, we killing ourselves. What money we gonna spend? It's only gonna be the people who making the money off the gun spending.
That's why nothing happening.
They paying y'all so much money because they making so much money. Like, we gotta get people in power who can look past all of that and start worrying about the future of this country, the kids, man. We ain't gonna have any. Like, I have a 2-year-old son now.
Distract us.
I got a 2-year-old son now, and to think about him going to school, and like, school is supposed to be somewhere you can send your kids and know that they safe. School's supposed to be one of the safest places that we have, and now you got to worry about your kid at school every single day while you at work. Like, we can't continue to live like this. No matter how the times have changed or anything, like people have typically never had to worry about the safety of their children at school. So that's what my feelings are. On this new commercial
Yeah.
that's caused all this controversy. But that being said, we really have to start, thinking about our families and in these situations where sudden death like this, are we able to handle those situations as far as what we're leaving our families? And I really want Miracle to touch on this because you've gone through a career change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want you to talk a little bit about your career change and what led to it and
Mm-hmm.
what it is now. And
Or
I
what
want
it
you
is,
to,
yo.
we're going to delve
What's
in a little bit
up?
into it because I think
Mm-mm-mm.
what you're doing really right now is
Mm-mm.
really important to a lot of people. So I think it's gonna really do some good in this world. What you're doing now is really positive.
Yeah, so for you guys who do not know, I think it's been 2 weeks now that I left my job. So
Dun dun
dun dun dun
dun.
dun. Here's the reason why I left my job. That 9 to 5 grind is ridiculous, and it's so funny because I was, how you have the on this day, like with Facebook, show you what you wrote like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like every time I look back, there's something about me saying like I'm not created for this 9 to 5. Like going into the office, like I just knew in my soul I was not meant to do it. But of course we get sucked into like what the world tells you to do. Go to school, you'll make more money. So of course I went to college and then wasn't making pennies, then went back to school, got my master's, the same grind. And I had to do a work trip to Pennsylvania. We were there for 2 weeks straight. I came home for the weekend, literally for a day, saw Maverick, and then went back out there. And I remember just being, I thought I was going to be able to tell this story without getting
It's good,
emotional.
bud. It's good. You know what? Y'all, I
I went
promise this
to
was the worst job she ever had, and this the one she been attached to the most. Like I
I was
promise.
in Pennsylvania and I was just like literally crying because I was so miserable. Like being away from my family, working nonstop. When I say I work nonstop for this job, um, I had basically employees all over. So the time zone was different. We had employees in Hawaii. I was responsible for Vegas, everywhere. So I would literally like wake up and just have anxiety all day because I would be working like from sun up to sundown. And even on the weekends, because we were so behind in this company that just thought that the lesser people, of course, was the
Mm-hmm.
better. So I, at the time, was responsible for over 1,000 employees. So being pulled in every single direction. And then this company wasn't even it, like technology or automation was not advanced. So we're doing like old school stuff, working just nonstop. And it just clicked when I was in traveling for work. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I can't live this life. I don't understand like the corporate gang. Like you literally work for 40 years and like don't have anything to show for it, pushing somebody else's dream. So I came back home. Everybody around me noticed the difference in me. Like I really wasn't talking, I really wasn't there. Like it was just bad. And then I actually reached out to a therapist. So was talking to a therapist and just talking to her about like, why am I so unhappy? Should I leave? I don't want to leave because I'm scared. I need to not necessarily provide for my family, but I mean, we two incomes coming into the house, we got bills.
Yeah.
And so she was just like, first question she asked me is like, what does your husband feel about this? And I was like, my husband is on board. He's just like, whatever you want to do, we're gonna just figure it out. And then she asked me, did I have like any type of backup plans? And then I already had like miraculous moments in place and like stuff that I was working on, of course, the life insurance. And so she was like, most people don't take that leap of faith and leave because their husband's not on board and then they don't have a plan. You literally have that in place. So the only thing that's stopping you is you. So I had to take a deep look into myself and figure out what was my fear and why wasn't I doing something that literally physically made me sick going into work. So finally, I put in my notice at my job and I left. Whew, that was like the best feeling. Even putting in my notice, it's like a weight. Like I was no longer stressed. I can taste food. I can just think. I can be a better like mother, a better wife, a better friend. Like just be present in the moment. All because that job. So that brings us to where I am now. It's so funny how life works. So I'm in a financial services business, so life insurance is like, it's crazy how much people just don't know. I wish I could just
funny how life works.
Badoo-cha. I just want to like educate our community so much. Just everybody out there who doesn't know like life insurance and how important it is. And we think life insurance is always connected to like our job or some like back in the day, like the old school life insurance. And it's different now. Like the world has changed and people use it for different avenues. It's just like ridiculous how much it has changed. And for me, like my reasoning of doing all of this is because I just want to help families. I just want to educate them. They just don't know the value it is. And then we put importance on everything else. Like if you have to get car insurance, we will get insurance on our phone before somebody like even thinks about life insurance.
Well, why do you think that is?
I don't know.
What do you think the stigma is about?
I think one of the biggest things for me, not for me, but I know because of my HR background, you depend on your job. So you're like, oh, okay, I have it through my job. But I can tell you so many stories about like why HR pushes that on you. Like sign up for your company pay benefits and sign up for it through your job. You don't own it. You do not own it.
Right.
And there's so many administrative in the back end that the HR department is responsible for, and you cannot, like, you have life insurance, you and your spouse passes away, and you don't get that money because HR didn't process the paperwork. It's coming out of your check every 2 weeks, but
and you know what?
we didn't process it.
Yeah.
Or you get something like, oh, you get $20,000 and you paying $12 for it. That is pennies.
And a lot of people have benefits at work, but it's like coverage benefits. It's not life insurance. You know what I mean?
Well, they will have life insurance, but you technically don't own it. You're paying for it, which is so crazy. Like you're paying for it. It's coming out of your check, but you have the company owns it, and then it's kind of like you're a cosigner, like in lame terms.
So why do people who don't get it through their job, why do some of those people not have life insurance?
Some companies won't because it's a benefit. So two things: a company may not offer it as a benefit, or they did and they can take it away. Because people don't understand it's a benefit. I can literally have something outside of like. Your medical is like mandatory. We have to offer you medical, but anything other than that is additional. So if a company they over budgeted or they don't see fit to use that benefit, they can take away life insurance and be like, hey, we don't offer it no more. And you've been with this company for 7 years, in the 8th year they decide to take away the life insurance portion of your benefits package just because of cost. Like,
Yeah.
it's cost effective because they're administrative. Sometimes companies will pay a portion of it and sometimes they won't, like, either way, but that's like the main reason. And another thing is tied to your job. And for real, the likelihood of you staying at that job until you die, people think like, okay, even if you're going to stay at your job until you retire, it's over.
Yeah.
So you would literally have to be working and die while you're working there to reap the benefits.
And
so
how
you're
old
paying
are people usually when they retire from a company?
I mean, retirement age is 65
65 to
Yeah.
70-ish,
ish.
ish.
People are living.
And whose life insurance you gonna get at 65?
Oh, baby, nobody's.
Exactly.
And then, like,
So why take that chance?
always think
so
about,
you just out there after you retire with nothing,
With nothing.
which happens to a lot of people.
So
they
many
retire and now they out there with nothing.
with nothing.
And what's that gonna leave their family? I hope they had
Even
some
that
good
401k.
pension.
Whew, Jesus.
Exactly.
That's
That's
another
what I was
thing
gonna
that us as HR people are taught to push on you. Hey, look, sign up for this 401k. Y'all, the way this world is going, I'm just saying, think of other options that is protected, because if your faith is in the stock market and you think you're not about to lose some money when this recession comes, I mean, it's just crazy how, especially the individuals in their 20s and their 30s, they just don't see the importance of it. And I tell you, as soon as you hit or you get closer to 40, the price increases so much, because it's all about insurability in your age. These companies basically want to know you're healthy, and you have to get in while you're young. So that's why
Think
I
about it.
know
Who
I
wants
come
to insure
across,
somebody that's about to die?
huh?
Who wants to insure somebody that's about to die?
Exactly.
So,
And I know I sound so pushy when I'm talking to people, but it's serious out here. Like, it was literally someone that my mentor reached out to and did a quote, did everything, and they gave her the, oh, not right now. It was $98. $98 a month. She said, "Oh, right, not right now. Maybe next year. Reach out to me." And that next month, she passed. That's crazy. If you seriously cannot afford around $100 for a month, come on. When we go eat crawfish, that bill is at least $75.
and for a person our age, how far will $100 a month take you? How much policy could you get around our age?
For our age, for $100, you can probably get like a good $250, $300.
$250, $300 for $100 a month in your early 30s. Come on, people. That's $300,000 worth of coverage.
But that's
But
like
check
the
this.
new. That's the new.
But check
you
this
get
exactly.
cash
This
value,
is that.
you
Explain
get living
to
benefits.
people what this new insurance is and how people can get this cash value.
Yeah.
And stuff like this.
So
like,
basically,
this is the new stuff, people.
The old life insurance is straight term. So term, I got a term policy for 30 years. And in that 30 years, I pay X amount of dollars. If I outlive the policy, it's gone. So all the money I paid is done, and I am no longer covered after those 30 years. The new life insurance has death benefits, living benefits, and cash value. So what that means is you're covered until you're at least 121. If you live until 121, believe me, the state of Texas will bury you. You'll get a whole day, like you are the oldest living person.
Right after Trade of Truth Day, it could be your day.
It can be your day. You don't have to worry about it. Living benefits, which is so critical, so critical, because 1 out of every 2 adults will most likely get sick before they actually pass. And not even like old age sick, like cancer, you have a stroke, anything like that. So if you're diagnosed with a chronic illness or critical illness, you get access to that money while you're living. That's something that's new.
That sounds like a 401k.
I mean, it's just crazy. I also have another one.
Millennials, y'all the ones out here trying to be entrepreneurs and trying to make your own passive stream of money.
Yeah.
Like, getting life insurance, think about this. Y'all always trying to find out what's the best way to invest your money. Invest it in yourself. Life insurance is now the best way to flip your money. Mm-hmm. You can basically have your own 401k, basically your own retirement. People aren't doing retirements anymore. Like, they're not taking out 401ks. They're doing life insurance.
They are burying their money into life insurance, y'all, because it got different rules. Like, this is what the people are doing. I'm trying to tell you. But anyways, cash value. So cash accumulation. So a portion will go to your death benefits. A portion will go to your cash accumulator. So you are basically building it. And so I posted something last week, and our son, our 2-year-old, he has multiple policies, and we're putting a good portion of the money towards his policies. And so and it's just building. So when he gets older, if he decides to go to college, that'll be his money to go to college. But if not, he can get his house, get his first house, anything like that. I truly believe Maverick will be on Disney Channel, and
But we're saying this. We're not talking about. We're talking about when he first goes to college, not when he leaves college. Yeah. When he is 18, he will be able to afford a house.
I mean, we're not doing loans. We're not about that life.
No loans. Like, if you're not looking into this right now, if y'all are not trying to contact me and Miracle about this, have your friend. Y'all don't care about your friends if you're not telling your friends about what we're telling y'all right now. Because you don't care about yourself. Because we are literally telling you about the money that you already spend on nothing anyway. Food, you could be putting shoes into these life insurance policies that's flipping it like a 401k that you can borrow money from yourself.
I mean, just think about your
flipping at exponential numbers.
If your kids, like, we buying J's, we doing all this for our kids. Like, we just have to make smarter decisions as human beings and set our kids up. It's leaving a legacy for the next generation. I mean, imagine if your grandma or anybody had a life insurance policy and passed, and that money, you inherited that chunk of money.
But you know what? Another reason why me and Miracle are doing this is because out of a lot of people, the Black community is not getting life insurance.
Because
we're the ones getting the short end of the stick right now.
Let me tell you, that average insurance agent was a 50-year-old white male. And he guarantees not coming to knock on our door and tell us this information. He probably tried with our grandma, but then he got kicked out of our neighborhood.
Yeah, it was like, nah, Young bro. Metro don't trust him.
Why you coming on MLK Drive? So we weren't not given this information.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're advocates of it. And why are people choosing not to invest in life insurance, but when someone passes, they on Facebook rallying a GoFundMe.
I mean, we can't do this, people. Like, we are at the point now to where technology is allowing us to educate each other. And we can't see, that's another thing. Black people don't look out for each other. White people will be running around. If this was new information to them, they would be running around telling everybody they knew about this lick. Because if I could guarantee my 2-year-old son his own house by the time he graduates high school. White people know about this already. Like, come on, y'all. Like, listen to what we're saying. If you need to do additional research, if you need additional information, reach out to us, please.
That's
and then tell your people about this. Tell your friends, tell your family, because if you really care about them, this is what's really going to help them in life. This is going to help their family in the future in life. Like, this is how you create generations. This is how you create not even generational wealth, but
you're living a legacy when you do
correct.
pass on.
You're right. You're leaving a legacy, whatever that may be. If it's even y'all are able to cremate me without having to worry about it.
You best believe when I pass on, because everybody's going to die.
I don't know.
My Maverick and his children will remember my name because I'm about to leave them a good chunk of money.
I don't know if I told you this or not, but when I was telling one of my coworkers about this life insurance thing, and he's white, he asked me, he's like, look, I'm not being racial or anything. I legitimately, this is a question of mine. He goes, I've noticed that a lot of people in the African American community, they don't end up having a funeral service for their family members for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He's like, is that because like they can't figure out how to get the money together? Or I go, yes. Whatever you're thinking, yes. I go, no, and it's not racial. It's a cultural thing. And I say, whatever you're thinking, yes. They're arguing who's going to pay for this.
Yep.
One. Or they trying to figure out how to get a GoFundMe going because ain't nobody going to pay for this. But that's what it mainly is because there's always an issue on how it's going to be taken care of. Next thing you know, you got to wait 2 weeks to bury your family member. They sitting in a meat locker, you know? So white people burying their family members that weekend. They die on Tuesday. The funeral's on Friday or Saturday, guaranteed. Because everything's already taken care of. Now, granted, this ain't all black people, but it's a lot. Because you know why? We just ain't got it. We ain't got it.
I will say that our community values other things past like life insurance. I get those same like, oh, I have it through my job. No.
Life insurance just sound like some white people stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like, man, what you mean, man? I got some bread stashed to the side for my, my kid.
I don't care. I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah. Shit, they better have their own money by the time they, man, that's not how to think. Because you know what? It's sad to say now, but going back on what we were talking about before, you ain't dying before your kids no more. And that's the sad world we living in right now. So y'all think about that. Like, what you gonna do if your kid dies? You wasn't expecting that. Do you got life insurance on your kid? Who's gonna pay for that? Like, and
it's because we don't want to think about it.
You don't want to think it, and that's what I was getting to earlier when I was asking you that question about what's the stigma that's keeping people from buying insurance that don't. And I think it's the thought of our mortality.
Yeah.
People don't want to think about dying. People don't want to think about their family members dying. They don't want to think about their kids dying. So thinking about getting life insurance is the furthest thing away from their thought process. If you don't
have life insurance or you have it through your job, whatever, and you get something that you own and you have control of it, you will have a peace of mind. Like, I promise you, when I got Maverick his policies, Chris his policies, because his job, oh my God, no. What they offer him is crazy. I can't live off of that. Or vice versa. Yeah. If I pass, you would only have, what was it, 10,000? That was it for me. That's the max.
My funeral will be covered, but that's about it.
No, but I'm saying if I pass.
But we're going to get off of our soapbox for this episode. We just had a lot on our hearts. A lot has been going on these past couple of weeks since we left y'all. We went a little long, but we owed y'all. So we thank everybody for listening.
Thank you.
We nothing without y'all. And
Appreciate you.
we really love all the feedback y'all are giving us. Continue to
Yes.
give us the feedback. We're not going to do an acting out today. I think we said enough about how we
Yeah.
acted. So we thank everybody for listening. Y'all bring it back to us for the next time. We thank y'all
See
for
you
listening.
next week. Bye.
Domo arigato.